A brutal New South Wales Liberal Party pre-selection brawl appears set to continue, after a judge said he would not rule on a crucial court case today. Key points. Judge John Basten says he needs more time to consider the judgment. Judge John Basten says he needs more time to consider the judgment. The seats of Parramatta, Greenway, Eden-Monaro, Hughes and Warringah are among those without Liberal candidates. The seats of Parramatta, Greenway, Eden-Monaro, Hughes and Warringah are among those without Liberal candidates. Labor has selected Mr Rudd's former economic advisor as its candidate for Parramatta. As the federal election closes in, the NSW Court of Appeal has been asked to find 3 important pre-selections invalid. However, Justice John Basten said the highly anticipated decision would not be made today. The case centres on a decision made last weekend by the federal executive of the Liberal Party to appoint a committee made up of Prime Minister Scott Morrison, NSW Premier Dominic Perrottet, and former federal Liberal Party President Chris McDiven. The committee was formed so candidates could be selected and endorsed in several NSW seats, and immediately Alex Hawke, a close ally of the PM, Sussan Ley and backbencher Trent Zimmerman, had their pre-selections locked in. Alex Hawke is among the candidates whose pre-selection is being challenged. The other seats still awaiting Liberal candidates are Eden-Monaro, Fowler, Grayndler, Greenway, Hughes, McMahon, Newcastle, Parramatta and Warringah. But the clock's ticking, with that committee only in control of the NSW division until Saturday evening. Pre-selections hanging in limbo. The ongoing case before the court means the pre-selections of Ms Ley, Mr Hawke and Mr Zimmerman are hanging in the balance. NSW Liberal State Executive Member and Parramatta businessman Matthew Comenzuli has brought the case, which seeks injunctions over the 3 pre-selections. He is arguing that Mr Morrison, Mr Perrottet, and Ms McDiven did not have the right to take control of pre-selections from the grassroots state level. However, the trio claim the court has no jurisdiction over the matter, nor does Mr Comenzuli have any standing to bring the action. The parties infighting threatens the government's chances of winning critical seats in NSW. Mr Comenzuli's lawyer, Scott Robertson, this morning stressed the case was of national importance and needed to be resolved as a matter of urgency given the upcoming election. The federal election is expected to be called imminently, and nominations for candidates close 10 days after writs are issued. The stoush began in February, when the Supreme Court effectively ruled the Prime Minister could not intervene in the process of pre-selections in NSW, something which was essentially ignored by the committee last weekend. Although the disunity was initially a sore point for the party, it now threatens the government's very chances of winning critical seats in NSW. Albanese defends Labor's pick. Anthony Albanese says the new candidate for Parramatta will be able to relate to all people. Labor has also been criticised over its pre-selection process. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese has formally announced Andrew Charlton, a former senior economic advisor to Kevin Rudd, will run for the seat of Parramatta. Many Labor Party members in Parramatta were put off by the party executive choice of Mr Charlton, who lives in Sydney's eastern suburbs. Some saw the selection as a tone-deaf choice. Defending the selection, Mr Albanese said he had been chosen unanimously by the Labor Party. People who meet Andrew instantly are attracted towards his qualities, Mr Albanese said. I've been looking for a range of candidates across a range of seats that fulfill the sort of qualities that make up a good government. I think Andrew will be able to not just relate to all the people of Parramatta, but also be an outstanding representative for them. Andrew Charlton says people want good jobs and decent pay. Mr Charlton acknowledged the diversity in the electorate of Parramatta and said he'd been talking to voters. I've been talking to people right across the electorate. They want good jobs and decent wages, he said. I've spent my whole life as an economist trying to understand how we make a stronger economy that takes financial pressure off people, that creates more opportunity for people. That's the experience that I bring to this campaign.